Endurance conducted a survey designed to identify and understand the barriers minority athletes, including people of color, Black, LGBTQ plus, and disabled, face when considering participation in endurance sports, as well as what will make them more likely to participate. Over 2/3, 69% of survey respondents who don't participate in endurance sports but are interested said seeing others like them participate would make them more likely to get involved. To help encourage those people to join the community, let's get into the benefits of entering endurance sports. Kira, I gotta ask you, despite the challenges, why do you choose to participate in endurance sports?
There are so many reasons I choose to participate, but to name one, I think a lot of it really has to do with mental health and mental clarity. So as I prepare for a lot of my long runs, what I started to do as a part of my overall mental health practice is to dedicate my runs to a loved one and to challenge myself to journal a little bit about the experience. It's a huge physical push, and we are challenging ourselves in so many ways. I think sometimes it's easy to let that mental piece fall to the wayside, and so I've chosen to really prioritize that.
I think, Kionte, how do you sort of reason the participation in endurance sports? How do you reason the time and energy and all the commitment and the benefits of it?
I got into sports for my own mental health. And that's honestly how I got into sports. And so after my injury, just a quick, backstory, I was injured overseas in Afghanistan where I lost my leg, and coming back, getting into sports is what helped me heal, because I'm now challenging my injury. I'm now pushing myself forward, and I'm being active, doing things that I didn't think that I would be able to do, because I wasn't an athlete prior to. But to inspire others is something that kind of was the byproduct of my own decision of, climbing mountains, running marathons, having people say, "Oh man, like you inspire me," or, I want to get into that too. Seeing me run or seeing me accomplish these feats that people with all their limbs can easily do, but don't for whatever reason. But it's my own personal challenge.
There is the you on this side. It's important. You're taking care of yourself, right? You're trying to figure out how to get yourself in the right mental and physical state of mind. Chris, what are some of the positives that have emerged in your life as a result of participation?
Playing sports was a way for me to feel at home in spaces where I didn't necessarily feel like I belonged. And in discovering that, I think that visibility is really important for me as an out trans person, to continue to be out, to continue to be visible, so that other people, particularly young people, see me and know that endurance sports is a place where trans people can exist. It is a space where queer people like me can exist and thrive and be accepted and welcomed and feel like they belong.
Chris, you gave an amazing answer, and we appreciate that, because I think one of the most important things there it is, take a bow and a spin, because the fact is, it is true. People need to see people that look like us, that think like us, that feel like us, that experience life like us, so they can say, that's me too, right? And I can participate. And there's a lot of people, Carolyn, that are nervous to take that step. And so what would you say to someone that's like, I can't do it. I don't know. I don't know if that's for me. What would you say to them?
What I can say for anybody who maybe has been dipping their toes into endurance sports, but maybe feeling a sense of imposter syndrome, or maybe, I don't call myself a runner because I'm not blank enough, or I don't consider myself, an athlete enough. For that, I think that go back to your why and why you love the feeling of the way you're able to move your body. And I want to say, don't be afraid to take up space.
Kionte, what would you say to people that are a little bit nervous about, getting involved in endurance sports?
Endurance sports, it's not for the weak-hearted. If you really want to get involved, you really want to be competitive, it's not for the weak-hearted, Me personally, I'm a sprinter, but I do endurance things. I'm actually trying to even sign up for a marathon, but I would never consider myself a marathon runner. I can do a marathon, but I call myself a sprinter. I'm a short distance kind of person. But it's a challenge for me to challenge myself into doing a marathon. So it's not for the weak-hearted, because it's a grind. You have to know your reason why. When things get hard, why are you doing it? When your body's hurting, why are you doing it? Why are you here?
You're enough just as you are. I would focus on progress over perfection and your personal goals versus what you might think the quote unquote industry standard is. I would focus on enjoying the journey. It is not always going to feel comfortable, but that's a part of it. And we learn a lot when we're in uncomfortable situations.
Chris, what would what would some advice be that you would give to someone that's nervous?
You can only compare yourself to yourself. And the goal every day is to be just a little bit better version of the person that you are. And we know that the benefits of participating in sports helps us not only be better runners, better cyclists, better triathletes or endurance athletes, it also helps us in our relationships, in how we show up at work, our friendships, how we exist on this world together.
As a final takeaway, I'll leave you with this: 84% of those that do participate in endurance sports said it can improve mental health. As we chat about, there are several barriers to entering endurance sports. However, we hope the tips we shared today were helpful to break those barriers and to join the community. Thanks for joining us. Tune in to GatoradeEndurance.com/community or on Instagram at Gatorade Endurance to see other barriers that athletes face and tips for how to overcome.